My mother was in the fifth grade in 1940. Her fifth grade teacher was a widow by the name of Myrtle McDaniel Dixon. She later married a Martin, but her first husband, Fred, had died in 1934. Myrtle's daughter, Mary Sue Dixon, was also in the fifth grade at London, and she was my mother's best friend. Mom described Mary Sue Dixon as a very sweet girl with dark hair and fat cheeks. Her father, Fred Dixon, had died when Mary Sue was just 5 years old, leaving his wife Myrtle, Mary Sue, and younger brother, Fred Jr. Sometimes when making these videos, I kind of struggle with what the title should be. The Death of Mary Sue Dixon, Mary Sue Dixon's Final Walk Home. But nonetheless, the events that occurred on Thursday, November the 21st, 1940, cut short a young life. These old steps in front of London School have been here for a long time. Almost every day, a group of kids, including Mom and Mary Sue, would walk home from school. Mom and Mary Sue came down these steps that day, and they walked south on Main Street through town, past the stores and the shops and the shopkeepers during the hustle and bustle of a lively downtown London. But Thursday, November 21st, 1940, would be the last time Mary Sue Dixon and my mom would walk along on this route. Many of the photos you'll see today are not exactly the same time frame, but they do capture the spots along the walk that would have been Mary Sue's last experience of walking through the streets of London. It's likely the kids had a kick in their step that day as they were headed home for Thanksgiving break. But November 21st, 1940 was not a normal walk home for the kids headed home that day. As my mom and Mary Sue would reach Whitley Street down around Farmers Market today at the old Dixie Motors, it's where they parted ways, and my mom would turn south on Dixie towards Sipple Street and over Johnson Addition to Catching Avenue, where the homestead was and where it still is today, on the back exit from Carnaby Square. Mary Sue and a small group of kids would continue their journey south on Main Street, leaving Dixie Motors and proceeding toward Morgan Street, having no idea they were minutes from disaster. As they proceeded to the south toward Morgan Street, they would pass by the Parker Mansion, which sat where Carnaby Square Shopping Center sits today, and follow the sidewalk on down to the south toward Morgan Street. A few minutes prior to their arrival, a car driven by 49-year-old Ben Birch of Corbin failed to negotiate the curve there around Morgan and South Main, and he crashed into a utility pole on the corner of Morgan Street. The pole snapped in two, and the car driven by Birch caught fire. A state highway patrolman happened to be behind Birch and pulled him from the burning vehicle, seriously injured. Birch died from his injuries 10 days later on December 1st. As the children arrived on the scene, they were headed out Morgan Street, and small fires had ignited the autumn grasses near the intersection. This scene was undoubtedly an exciting one for the children as they began to stomp out the small grass fires with their feet. Unknown to anyone, a high-powered electric line had fallen across a wire fence, and as Mary Sue was stomping out the grass fires, she touched the wire fence, which was electrified by the fallen wires. Mary Sue was electrocuted, and she died instantly. Standing here looking at the scene and then turning around the other way and looking back toward the tall Angel Monument in A.R. Dyke, that's the monument for Nanny Parker, the first burial in A.R. Dyke Cemetery. It's literally just a stone's throw away from the accident scene where 11-year-old Mary Sue Dixon was electrocuted that day on November 21st, 1940. If you visit the Angel Stone, 2 stones away, you'll find the final resting place for Mary Sue Dixon, buried next to her mother, Myrtle Dixon Martin. So I've thought about this situation many times, and the day that my mom and Mary Sue parted ways there at Dixie Street, and no one knew that saying goodbye would be forever.